Halito, welcome back, everybody. Halito, getting my technical stuff together here. How are you? This is CT over the NYC Indian, and today we're going to be reviewing 90 Day Fiancé the other way. Thank you for your patience. I owe you guys a couple of other episodes for Love After Lockup. We'll be putting those out later on this week, or I'll be putting out at least this weekend's episode this week, maybe tomorrow. We'll see how it goes. But how have you guys been? I've missed you guys. Thank you for waiting. Thank you for your patience. So this is going to be brought to you from a perspective of a Native American, mixed Native American, Black Native American, secular Native American, all that good stuff. Let's dive right on in. So anyway, we started the episode with Gabe. So it's time for Gabe and Isabel to pick up his mom and his sister. Well, actually, I'm going ahead of myself. He's back in Colombia now, right? So they have to pick up his sister and his mom. And now he's having a conversation with Isabel saying that Monica, his sister, insists on being not only the person to give him away, but he also wants to be the person, she wants to be the person that will also walk him down the aisle. So she's like, wait, no. Either you're going to be a maid of honor or you're going to give away. You can't do both. She was like, it's mi boda. It's my wedding. I'm not, forget that. And now, Isabella's thinking that his sister Monica's a little bit controlling. But remember, now Gabe is telling, who knows what Gabe is saying? Oh, hi, Barbara, how are you? Thank you very much. Yes, I'm very vintage today. You know, girlfriend, I have to put my sweaters away for the time being, even though I have some of my, my little springtime garments as well. And hello, Susan, how are you? Wasn't it good? I thought it was a good episode. I love when we have good episodes and it's not all boring and stuff like that. I love that. So yeah. So okay, let me see. Where was I? All right. Let me make sure I have this chat up so I can see if you guys are talking to me. All right. So now we go over to Jen. So Jen, remember, her two girlfriends back from Oklahoma are in India with her. So they decide to go over to Rishi's place and talk to the parents. So remember, they brought this translator, this gorgeous Indian translator with them, by the way. So it's like, okay, and Rishi's like, oh no, I don't want my parents to think that, we're trying to like hook her up, or she's the one that's supposed to be introduced or whatever. So I said, okay, hold on. Am I out of focus here? Let me try to increase the sharpness for a second. Hold on one second. Having some technical stuff here. All right, let's see. That's blurry. All right, I think that's probably a little bit better. Okay, that should be good. All right. Okay, so let's get going. So they had this pretty ass, interpreter there and everything. And, Jen's telling her like, I just feel bad. I don't want you to feel like you're going to be in the middle of the argument and stuff like that. Well, you know what you brought her for, but it's all right. She's getting paid and she's going to get some television exposure. So she should be okay. Right. So then they're all together and they're talking about, Jen wants to know from the mom, like how many different proposals has he had. And then she realizes, oh, well, it wasn't that many. It was like between 2 and 4, and that was a while ago, and he's been turning down all of her suggestions. So, she feels like, satisfied with that answer. Oh my goodness, I just overreacted before in the restaurant, blah, blah, blah. So then her friend, I don't remember her name, the blonde friend, she decides to spill the beans. Now, we already knew that was basically the game plan to begin with, right? Kind of takes the pressure off of Rishi, takes the pressure off of Jen. So then, and then the mom's face was like, right? She had no idea. She's probably like, what in the hell are all these Americans doing in my living room, right? So now we go over to Danielle and Johan. Now, she's still insisting that he meets her ex-boyfriend, who she had like a 4-month established, it's not going to be a long-term relationship sort of fling with, right? Who's like several years younger than her. I don't know how young he is, but honey, he looks like he was one of her pupils back in New York City. Okay. So anyway, he's an athlete or something. So now Osama, we get over to Osama. So Osama, oh God, this was so good. Osama basically decided to reveal the master plan to Debbie. He was like, no, I told you, we're going to go to America and I'm going to sell my art because that's where I can sell my art and that's where everything's going to be good and that's what we're going to do and that's the plan. And she was like, hold on a minute there, buddy. You know how Debbie talks, right? And she was like, oh my God, that's not what we talked about. You're not the person I talked to. And, she's feeling a little bit deceived. But Debbie, I mean, what did you think? He needed to come to America to get that eye fixed and get them teeth fixed. All right. He's looking for a good dental and vision plan. All right. I mean, I don't know what you were thinking. I've been riding with Debbie the whole time because we knew this was going to crash and burn. I just didn't know it was going to be this soon. I didn't know they weren't even going to make it out of Morocco, but I don't know. I'm just talking stuff over here. Hey, Lee Pepper. Oh my God, how are you? We haven't seen you in a while, Lee. Thank you for joining us. I'm glad you guys made it. I'm glad I was able to come in on a time where everybody was home or I don't know. Are you guys at home? Or are you at work, at your desk watching me? Is that what you're doing? All right. So anyway, that's okay. I won't tell anybody. You don't have to put it in the chat. So anyway, what's her name? God, Debbie, slipped my mind. So she decides, she was like, you know what? I'm getting out of here. She gets a car service and she leaves. She was like, Osama, you can figure this out on your own. I'm done with this. I'm not here to be your sugar mama, and he just lied to her and he scammed her. Her head is so in the clouds, and she knows that she's going to have to hear her son's mouth because her son's been telling her, Mom, come on, this guy doesn't want you like that. He's going to use you and stuff. But, she's just like a hopeless romantic. And it's like, Debbie, girl, I understand you're an artist and you think kind of differently because, you are my sister in that respect. I totally can, relate to that. But I just feel as though, you don't have to pick up somebody over at the local ALF. That's assisted living facility for people outside of the United States that are watching. You can get somebody, doesn't have to be, 80 years old, but a nice man. There's still good looking men in their 60s. You know what I'm saying? Even ones that really take care of themselves that are in their 70s. Susan would said, I just knew it and she will take him back, I think. Yeah, he's probably going to try to sweet talk her because he's going to figure out like, I just fumbled the bag. Hold on, what's going on? I got my whole family riding on this visa. Hold on, what's going on? So, yeah, I mean, I don't think this is going to quite be the end of this story as of yet, but I hope it is. I mean, I hope, even if he comes back to her and says, please, I changed my mind or something like that. I hope she just says, that's it. You took advantage of me. And hopefully her son will talk some sense into her, But anyway, so now we're moving over to Nicole and Mahmoud. So he's playing dominoes with his brother and he's telling him about how Nicole, dropped the bomb on him about wanting to go back to the States. And he said, I'm actually kind of thinking about it. He says, it's been 4 years that we tried to make this marriage work. She's been back and forth. We haven't been able to really, she hasn't quite been able to adjust to Egyptian culture as of yet. And, why not? Why would it, it would be unfair for me to not give her the option of trying the way that she tried for me. So I said, all right, we're seeing a little bit of maturity, perhaps a little bit of growth until he says, but when we get over there, I'm still keeping all my culture, keeping all my everything. Now, I do believe that when you move to a different place, it is important to keep your culture and your roots, your community ties, link up with an Egyptian community there. I highly recommend Jersey City. There's a very large Egyptian community in Jersey City, New Jersey. But don't think you're going to come to the States and tell her she can't wear a T-shirt. I mean, that's not going to work. I mean, the power balance is definitely going to be shifted if he comes over here. But and for a second, I'm on the fence with him because he just does not have the relationship experience. He doesn't even have that much experience with his own wife, and they've been married all this time because of the distance and stuff. And as well, my concern with him is that because he's from such a religious background, kind of tight, he hasn't seen women in, positions of power and things like that, having their own agency and stuff like that. He hasn't seen that. Now, he will see that when he comes to the States, and that'll be a culture shock, but that can possibly plant a seed like, oh, the world can be different, right? That's where I could have some hope. But the thing that stops me is that he was real quick. If those cameras were not there a couple of weeks ago when they were having that fight out in the street, if those cameras were not there, he would have clocked her, okay? He was like, don't you, remember that? Remember that person who left that little nasty comment in my section, in the comment section about, oh, you don't understand how it is over, there, and they may be allowed to beat their women. I don't give two shits about that, all right? She needs to get the hell out of there. No woman needs to be voluntarily moving to a country where she could get hit. I'm not saying she can't. I don't know all the Egyptian rules and all that, because, there is the intersection of both culture and religion. Not everyone in the Middle East is Muslim. Some people are, they're the local tribal, you have different tribal groups that have their own religious beliefs, like the Yazidi people. You have the Chaldeans in Iraq. You have Jews that, there's everything over there, right? So, there is that intersectionality, but I just, when he moves, he would have to adjust to a way where it would be, he would have to understand that when he gets upset, he can't be trying to raise his hand. Now, he did not hit her. But he was so close that I was like, I don't know about this. But he's young. Maybe if he gets around the right people, he can learn. But, who wants to be taken on a project like that? If you're that close to popping me, it just takes the next argument when you're in the States, when she's definitely free to have an argument in the street if she needs to have one. And then he might try and, lay some hands. That's all I'm saying. So I got my good eye on Muhammad. Barbara says his brother said he's never even had a girl. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. The lack of experience. It's not even like he's only experienced women within his own country. They're not allowed to date. His family, they don't date. You just get married, right? And I really did. His brother is growing on me. I definitely respect his brother a lot. I think that, he's not perfect, but I respect the fact that he's really trying to advocate and try and help, her, because he understands his wife is also foreign, and, the struggles that they had of his wife, Fatima, adjusting and stuff like that. And she really adjusted. She converted. I'm sure her name, she wasn't born Fatima, right? Because his wife was not Muslim, growing up in China. Not that they're not Chinese not that they're not Muslim and Chinese. You have the Uyghur people, and, there's a whole political situation going on with them. But his wife completely, converted everything over to be with him and learn the language and everything. So, he is a bit of an advocate, really, for his sister-in-law, which I think is good. And then Susan says, yes, and if he comes here, he will be in jail. That's right. They don't play that over here. All you got to do is raise your voice too much here, right? And somebody can call the cops, and once the cops come, they can be, that's a domestic, So he's going to have to really, really watch that. And who's going to watch him? I don't know. So if he comes to the States, I want him to be able to be around other people from his culture so he feels comfortable, but not get so deep into it where he's only living like he's living in Egypt, right? Because when you move to another country, I think there should be a healthy balance between maintaining your own culture as well as integrating. If you're only going to be in your own little bubble, then what's the point? You just may as well stay where you were. Like I know that could be a controversial idea, but I don't care. That's just how I feel about it. I've been to another country before. I lived in Montreal before. It was very brief, when I was a kid. And when I was there, I was like trying to learn French. At that time I was very French, and I couldn't just be like, well, back in America. No, you have to, try to acclimate to some degree. So. And and Barbara says, I like the brother. He's a good man. I think so too. Susan says, I'm just glad no children involved. Not yet, Susan. Not yet. I know. I'm scared too. She needs to really, really think about this. I think she needs to have him over here for like a couple of years and then see how he acts, and then see if she can have a child with him, and make sure he's not acting crazy, because he might try and take the child, go back to his country. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes people do stuff like that too. I don't fully trust Mahmoud. It's not because I think he's like so calculated in anything. It's just that he just doesn't have a lot of experience, so he just tends to react. And he's around men that react, and having good communication with his wife and stuff like that. I don't know if he's used to being around people that are like that, other than his brother. His brother seems to have, at least some sort of, they've worked out something. But his own wife, Fatima, to her own she admitted to herself, she was like, she's smiling and giggling the whole time about, wearing the hijab, but she says she doesn't like it. Or I guess they say hijab maybe in Egypt. I was looking that up because I've heard the term hijab, but maybe that's a regional difference or something. I heard them saying hijab on that episode. So yeah, I don't know Egyptian, Arabic, dialect and stuff like that. So anyway, moving on. So now we're going with Gabe and Isabel. So Isabel picks up the mom and the sister at the airport, and his sister Monica, who's really gorgeous. Oh, I forgot. And Monica brought her boyfriend along as well. And the sister was being really bitchy. And I just felt like it was so unnecessary. Like, why are you being so bitchy? I don't even understand why you're being so bitchy. Because she's like, you don't speak English? No English? Like, bitch, you are in somebody else's country. How come you don't speak Spanish, right? Now, I'm not Latin, so it's not my job to get on somebody's butt about, you being Latino and speaking English or speaking Spanish or not speaking Spanish. I understand there's a whole lot of, different layers with that or whatever. But so I'm not going to say to her like, oh, you don't speak Spanish, but Isabel could say that to her. Oh, you don't speak Spanish and you're here in my country as well and you're Latin, you don't speak Spanish, right? So she could get back at her like that. But, and Isabel is definitely feeling the shade. She knows what she's talking about, right? And Gabe is trying to do this rough translation. And I thought to myself, well, hold on. Gabe's mom doesn't speak Spanish either. Oh, okay. So that means this whole time Gabe's rough Spanish is rough because he had to learn it on his own. So then I was like, okay, I give Gabe a lot of credit. I give him a lot of extra credit now because that's not an easy thing, right? But yeah, I just thought that was really rude how the sister was acting about that. Oh, you don't speak English? Who the fuck are you, right? So anyway, come on now. So anyway, so Gabe's all stressed out and everything like that. And Isabel, so he translates that Isabel, Isabel wants to have a one-on-one conversation with you, Monica. So she's like, oh, what's this about? And I'm like, why not? I mean, you guys really haven't had a chance to interact, and that's Gabe's fault. Gabe didn't really have them on, video chat or anything like that. Now the mom seems to be very receptive and and warm and seems to like Isabel right away, but the sister, very protective. You know how family members are, and, it can be like that sometimes, but, doing it in a way, there's a way you do things. You could sit down and say, hey, you know what, these are my concerns. Gabe has went through X, Y, and Z, and, we've been very close as a family, just been the three of us, blah, blah, blah. Not, you don't speak English? Like, what? Come on now. I really couldn't believe my ears when she said that. So now we're going over to Jen and Rishi. So, all right. So, okay. Rishi is about to melt in his chair, right? Because all the tea has been spilled and his mother is shocked. But she accepts. That's what she says. All right. I can't stop him. Okay. So now he's pissed off because he's like, oh, Jen ruined my plan. I was, trying to do everything by the astrologer's date. We needed to wait by the second, month or whatever like that. And, excuse me, and she ruined my plan. And, they say goodbye. I mean, it was an interesting interaction, but, Jen is trying to get more information. Like, are you okay with us getting married? And, but so it seemed as though she was getting the blessing. So she says, okay. So then they part ways. Before they leave, Jen's friend is like, oh, sorry, I didn't mean to say what I said. I mean, I meant it, but, I'm sorry if it caused you trouble or whatever. And he's like, oh, no, it's okay. He's acting like he's not mad about, but he really was, right? What did you say? Susan says, or Barbara says, Isabel has good manners. She does. She does, because she handled that quite well. Because I would not. You're not going to come to... I wish somebody might come here from wherever and start getting on my case because I don't speak their language. Like, what the... Did you not read the airport? Like, do you see what country... Like, come on now. And then Susan says, she says something. I question, is that the real mom? Because she made a statement that she was all he had. I heard that Susan maybe... I mean, I didn't get that. I thought they meant like, I thought they meant, I thought they meant like because the dad wasn't around, it was just the mom and Monica and Gabe. But I don't know. I mean, we'll see. We'll see. So then, okay. So that was Rishi and Jen. So now we're over at with Danielle and Johan. So she meets up with her ex Talon. I don't know how to pronounce his name. And Johan starts pressing him for information, right? I mean, they did the hello, how are you, nice to meet you, whatever. So he starts pressing him for information. And, he's like, oh, well, we were together. It was just like a short romance, it was in Miami. And it was basically, YouTube doesn't allow us to say the major illness that took over our country in 2020. I don't know, for some reason. So I'll just call it the pandy, instead of the imic. So it was a pandy romance, basically. They met each other when it was during lockdown and everything. So, it was very short lived. And he's reassuring him that, like that was like kind of like, I'm done. We're just friends at this point. I don't have any romantic feelings. So then, Johan Johan goes, so what size shoe you wear? Then he wants to size him up. He makes him stand beside him so they can see who's tall or whatever. And then he comes out and says, she likes men with the big benga, that's the word in Spanish for the male member. She likes men with big bengas. And I was like, okay, listen. Now, Daniel, I've been in Johan's corner up until now, but now he's acting like an asshole. All right. This is where we're starting to see, this is culture, machismo, right? And we're starting to see his lack of education. You know what I mean? And she's all upset. She's all crying. You know who you married. I mean, I don't think this is the first time that she's seen this particular side of him, but I mean, I feel as though she never looked at Johan as a real person. I feel like she looks at Johan as somebody who's tall, hot, strapping, okay, young, Latin. You know what I'm saying? I think it's all like just a lustful thing. Because I bet if he looked like her, shaped like her, height like her, his height was like hers, she wouldn't even give him a second look, right? So I think that she's really fascinated with how he looks, and she feels like she has a prize on her hands, and and she'll just eat coconuts and drink mimosas by the beach. I mean, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. He has a lot of growing up to do. Now, I felt that the whole thing was, I mean, she just could have avoided this altogether had she not insisted upon having him, like, I don't know, like, be around. Like, why do you need to bring the ex around your husband? Like, is he that present in your life that you need to have him be introduced? Like, if it's somebody that you see, like, you talk to every 5-6 years, hey, like a quick email or something like that. So, and if you wanted to be with someone who was okay with you seeing exes and stuff like that, then that's the kind of thing you find out before you get married to someone. Because some people don't care. Some people do not care if you hang out with your ex-spouse. I do, but some people, that's within the limits of what is considered acceptable within their marriage. So whatever acceptable is that's relative. That's couple to couple. But once you've established that and you get to know each other, not just fall in love on vacation, like it's like she got some Island D and decided to pin it down. I don't understand. I'm not getting that. So anyway, so what you guys? Okay, so you guys mentioned here about the prenup. He has a lot of money wanting a prenup. Okay, so the prenup now with Gabe and Israel. So I remember. Okay, so in my notes it said something. What did I write down here? That Gabe was saying, Gabe was telling Isabel that Monica wants him to get a prenup to protect himself from Isabel, right? And Isabel was like saying like, no. But, and then we'll get back to the rest of that conversation later when we get back to Isabel and Gabe again. So, all right, yeah. So anyway, Danielle, she's all crying and stuff like that. I'm like, Danielle, girl, you brought this on yourself. Now, you could have figured out these things that needed, a little bit of work or whatever. Oh, my battery's running low, guys. Hold on one second. Let me just plug up my charger real quick. So it's like you already knew all this stuff about him. I don't understand why you acting so damn brand new right now. She just gets on my nerves. I swear, and I think they could come to like, I don't know, some sort of what do you call that, like some sort of compromise on certain things, certain cultural things or whatever. But just having all these conversations that literally should have and could have been had while they were dating, it's just so stupid to me. That is just so stupid to me. So anyway, all right. So now we're back with Debbie. Debbie decides to call her son, right, and tell him everything. She was like, she gets on the she gets on the screen and she was like, yeah, I'm just having a very terrible time here. It just all went to hell. I don't know what happened. I don't know. And then she starts telling him about what happened, like, the way how oh my God, I'm trying to keep up with all these names. Not Osama. Yeah, Osama. How Osama had his little master plan going on and everything. And her son, he's sitting there. At first he's like this on screen. Next thing you know, he's sitting like this. Listen to her like, I knew this was good. And then he goes, well, it's not time for me to tell you that I told you so, but it's like, that's a way to work it in, right? But that's his mother. Imagine if that was your mother. Can you imagine your mother telling you that she fell in love with somebody who lives halfway across the world. She does not know the religion. She does not know the language. She does not know the culture. Never met this person. Well, actually, did they meet in person before? I don't think they met in person before. But like, I mean, can you imagine how worried you'd be about your mom? So I'm thinking, like, from his perspective, and he's a police officer, so he's naturally, paranoid, and oh my God, I just could not imagine it. But, live and learn, Debbie. That was an expensive lesson. Girl, I hope you've learned your lesson, because we are too old to be out here spending our retirement money. Aren't we on a fixed income? Okay. Girl, they ain't got no AARP over in Tunisia or Morocco. No, was it Morocco? Is he? Yeah, no, he's in Morocco, right? Oh my God. Anyway, so now we're back with Gabe, right? So Gabe, so Isabel is trying to comfort Monica. So they're all together at dinner, right? So it's all five of them, right? And he's trying to comfort. When I say the five of him, it's Gabe and Isabel, his mom, his sister, and his sister's boyfriend. The kids are not there. So, they're sitting down and they're talking, and she's trying to make her feel better, right? He's trying to make her, Isabel is trying to make Monica feel better, like, hey, I love your brother, because she already knows about this prenup situation, right? I love your brother. It's fine with me. They're using the translation app. And the sister's like, okay, well, so the whole time, the sister's like, oh, okay, it's all good. Okay, well, can you sign a prenup? And Isabel's like, yeah, no problem. I'll sign it. I'm not trying to take anything from your brother. And so now Monica's like, wait a minute, hold on. Gabe, that's not what you said. You said that she wouldn't be willing to. And then now Isabel's like, hold on, are you playing two ends against the middle? And yes, Gabe is, because first of all, he knows his sister is judgmental as fuck. He already knows that. And he, but he also doesn't want to look bad to his sister, like, oh, I'm just letting Isabel, make all the decisions. Because apparently, according to Gabe's mom, his past relationships have been with women who didn't want to work, kind of wanted to live off of him and stuff like that. And, they're very concerned about the business that he's created for himself. So, the sister was very overprotective. Now, I do understand to a certain extent. Usually, I know the family members are always going to be overprotective, but in this particular case, I understand being overprotective a little bit more, because come on, your brother's in a foreign country. If something happens to him, if somebody finds out he's trans and, and wants to, follow him home, they can put him in a truck and he can wind up in, Medellin or Venezuela or something, or never be heard from again. I mean, stuff like that happens to people. It's not like a place that's, so open, according to Isabel and some of the other, castmates that we've seen that have come from Colombia and stuff. It's still very Catholic and everything like that. So I mean, I understand that fear. I mean, that is definitely, that's definitely valid. But here's the thing. You can't be so nasty towards Isabel if she's shown nothing, right? Because I feel like the mom was even looking for something to be wrong with Isabel, but she was like, no, she seems like really like a really nice person, and she's taller than him, and it's just like they were, the mom seemed to be kind of surprised. So and the thing is too is that with the 90-day the other way situation, usually it's not, our thinking is a little bit different, a little bit too, because it's like we don't think, oh, they're only moving to the United States, and even if they were, who cares, so what? But for some people in some situations, like with Osama and Debbie, the person like is zeroed in on getting citizenship and stuff like that. And he's really stupid too, because you have to be very careful with immigration, because if you've ever been to an immigration interview, honey, let me tell you something, that is not that ain't nothing nice, because they are really looking for you to be like scamming somehow. And between the ages and everything between these two, they wouldn't even grant them like the green card, or not the green card, because that's the second process, but like the 90-day visa or whatever. I don't know. I'm not sure how that will work if they were to get married, Osama and Debbie. If they were to, I guess I think they said from previous seasons, you have a better chance of getting your green card if you get married in that person's home country and then come over, because then they think, oh, well, then it's legit, because this American went all the way over there and got married, so of course they're just trying to continue their life, versus when the person from another country comes over to the States, and then then they're more skeptical, the government's more skeptical. So I mean, they would not have gotten through any kind of interview. I'm telling you right now, they would not have gotten through any kind of interview. So, I mean, I think they just need to wrap that up. Okay, just call it, just call it a lesson learned, Debbie. You were artistic and bohemian, and you traveled, and you can tell about your friends how you fell off a donkey and you rode a camel and you painted and you went to a poetry cafe in Morocco. Let it be a good journal entry, all right, and just leave it at that. Otherwise, you're going to end up spending your little retirement money. What'd you guys say down here? So, one of the money. Oh, I love Debbie, and I'm a couple of years older than her. I love Debbie too. I mean, I just feel like once you get to a certain age, you should just be, kind of living your life and exploring and having adventure. That's why I wasn't as mad at Debbie in the beginning, Barbara, because I felt like, let her kind of live her life. Is he going to take her, rake her through the coals? Yeah, sure, but hopefully she's smart enough that it'll just be like a whirlwind thing, and she won't lose too much money, and like this is not going to be her partner until she dies or something like that, But if she just wants to have an adventure, she's had her kids, she's had previous marriages and stuff, I was like, okay, who cares, right? But now that we've hit to the end of the road, right, it's pretty official. I think it's official, because Debbie seems pretty like she has her heels dug in the ground. And what woman in her 60s is gonna let some little piece of shit in his 20s put his foot down and tell her what to do? She could be his grandmother. I mean, like, come on, right? Come on, Debbie. So hopefully, Debbie, I'm talking to you. All right. Hopefully we've learned our lesson from this. Don't be sending him no money. Okay. So, all right. So now we finish off with Jen and Rishi. So Rishi, okay, so everybody's left. So, or the Americans have left, right? So Rishi is there with his mom and his uncle. And they start talking. He was like, so what do you overall think about her, the girl? You do like the girl? And they're like, yeah, I mean, yeah, but we still got to, consult the family. We have to have counsel. And he's like, what? But I thought you said, he's like, come on. She's like, come on now, hold on. Yeah, I said yes, but I mean, there's still other steps that have to be had before you guys run off and get married. You can't just be running off and getting married willy-nilly. You know our culture, you know our religion, you know where we're at. Don't be acting so brand new over here, Rishi. And he's like, okay, all right. And then he drops that she is 40-something. I don't remember how old she is. And then the mother's face was like, what? Say what? Say what now? And she was like, that's 15 or 16 years older than you. Are you serious? And then the parents or the family was like, nope. It's done. No more. That's it. End of conversation. We're done. That'll never be accepted in our Indian society. You are not going to be bringing shame on this family name over here in this corner of Rajasthan, India, okay? You won't be doing it today. I was like, oh shit. So not only do you come into your mother's house with cameras and strange American women with a whole bunch of makeup on. That's okay. I like to wear makeup too, you know. but the one friend with the blonde hair. Remember when they were having lunch in that little beautiful restaurant? Honey, that face was done for the gods. I was like, you hitting a nightclub after this? Like, what are you doing? But you bringing them in, and and they're, poor mother doesn't know what's going on. Then somebody else tells you in an unorthodox way with a translator on to boot that they're going to be getting married. They've exchanged rings, and they got this all planned. And then you're going to wait till after she leaves to announce that she's closer to 50 than anything else. I said, that's a lot. That's a lot. And he was like, that's why Risha's like, she ruined my plan. We should have waited for the astrologer's date. It would have all worked out. The stars would have been aligned. Honey, no astrologer can erase the wheels of time, okay? Turn the clock back. She will still be 48 or whatever, however old she is in August in 2 more months, right? So, oh man, Rishi, he seemed heartbroken. He was crying. He was like, oh my God, I put 3 years. He said to his mom, like, but I mean, what? There's been so much time. I've invested so much time into this. She's like, no, this is not going to work. This is, you know how they do the little head bob over there, right? She was like, this is not going to work. I was like, oh my God. I'm laughing, but I felt bad in that moment. I really did. I mean, that was like some genuine disappointment. But you know what? He shouldn't have been playing games and stuff like that. I mean, first of all, Rishi is a little bit of a liar, okay? And Barbara said Rishi is rather easy on the eyes. Listen, Barbara, you know what? I'm not gonna disagree with you. I think Rishi is a nice looking guy. Now, I don't think Rishi is as fine as he thinks he is, but I think Rishi is nice looking, especially in the confessionals. For some reason, in these confessionals, they look good. And I thought the confessionals happened in their homes. But they must be having some makeup and wardrobe people coming in, because look at Chris with Jamie. Chris always looks like some hot trash mess from down south, honey. But when she does those little those confessionals, she has on like that turquoise blouse. She looks good. Chris looks good. She looks sophisticated. She looks really good. Age appropriate. You know what I'm saying? We're not spring chickens around here, right? So we're middle-aged ladies around here. We got to try, keep it up looking good. So anyway, Rishi in his confessionals, he has his hair pulled back into that bun. He looks good right there. Now that is his look. He needs to stop all that Indian Fabio Jesus business trying to flip that hair, because it is thin and out, okay? But keep it in the bun. The bun looks so good on Rishi. And he's not wearing those checkered stripe NASCAR looking shirts with the sleeveless. No. In the confessionals, he looks good. He had on like that brown button up. He looked fantastic. That's his look. Rishi, stick with that. Whoever's doing these confessional, whoever the stylist, the makeup, and the hair people are on point for 90 Day. I should look them up and see who they are. Maybe they're hiring. I should get a job doing that, right? So, but yeah, so anyway, yeah, poor Rishi's over there. He's upset, and he's thinking, oh my God, I'm gonna have to break this news to Jen. And, now, part of the issue, before they even found out about the age that was really bothering Rishi, was that, and the whole reason he wanted to kind of like circle back with his mom after the ladies had left, because he wanted to make sure like how she felt about Jen and like the living situation. Because remember, Jen was like, I'm not living with your family. I can't do that. And I was thinking to myself, well, what about a compromise? What about maybe there's another house, like 2 or 3 houses down, if there's something like within walking distance in the area, so you guys can live very close but not necessarily live in the same house. Or maybe just get a larger house where you guys can, one family can be on one floor, the other, you know what I'm saying? Something like that. That's what I was thinking. But, I didn't realize at that time, though, that they didn't know how old she was. But then again, yeah, I guess it's not that I didn't realize. I guess I was just so shocked that the friends, even though they told us that they were going to do it anyway, I was so shocked about, the mom being kind of, taken off guard but by the fact of this announcement and stuff like that, I wasn't even thinking about her age in that moment. I really was not. I totally forgot about it. So then it was like, oh my God, I'm thinking about living arrangements. No, we got to get to the age factor, right? And it's a thing for them. So, I think, Rishi does not seem to me like he's going to go against his family. If it took him that long, and Rishi is a bit of a liar. Okay, we gotta keep that real. He has lied about some stuff. All right, but I mean, I don't think Rishi is a complete snake, but he's definitely dishonest, right? Now, but when it comes to his parents, I mean, or his mom and his uncle, you could say like his parents, his uncle is kind of like his dad, right, or a father figure. I mean, he knows how tight the Indian culture is. And he said, I know this is India. I know how people think. And, like his mom wouldn't even when his mom thought that she may have been closer to his age, the mom still was like, okay, but I need to counsel with the family. Like, I can't give permission, like, just alone. This has to be like a whole family decision. And see, in certain cultures, that's how it goes, right? And excuse me. So, I mean, because there is so much, what would you say? There's so much ceremony and things that go on with even decision making and how, matchmaking is very big in India. You know what I mean? It's like the process of marriage is done so differently that I feel as though he knew that, therefore he should have at least told his family sooner to avoid all of this. Because, maybe telling the family after they've been together for like a year wouldn't be so bad as, if you've waited 3 years. Because I don't think he's going to go against his family. I just don't see it. I don't see it happening. But anyway, I mean, I don't know. The mom was like, it's a hard no. It is a hard no. So we'll see what happens. I can't wait for the reunion. That is going to be extra spicy and extra special. So they'll probably do a two-parter like they usually do. Fingers crossed for that. So I am going to get off the line here, and I'm going to start the do my live for Seeking Brother Husband, the final episode for that. And be looking out this week for the final episode, season finale, as well for Love After Lockup. So hopefully tomorrow, we'll see. I don't want to promise, not just yet, all right? But anyway, I really appreciate you guys tuning in. Take care. And yes, Susan, next week. So next week will be, I believe it's next week, because it looked like it was next week in the preview, I think, for the reunion for... or actually not reunion, I'm sorry, but it can't be reunion next week for 90 Day because Rishi hasn't told Jen yet, right? So it's got to be like maybe 2 more weeks. Anyway, it's coming up soon. I don't know. I don't even check that stuff. I'm like you guys. I just turn on the TV. I don't do very good planning over here at the NYC India. But anyway, we'll see. But I'll definitely see you guys next week. I was so busy this week, you guys. Oh my God, I had a lot of work, and I was doing some bead work. I had a birthday. I'm much closer to 50 now. I was doing a lot of stuff. We lost our family pet. It was a little bit of a crazy week, and I just couldn't do my lives. But, life happens, and we have to, take a little time off. But anyway, so yeah, if you guys are still, if you're not doing anything, just look for my notification in about maybe 5-10 minutes, and I'll be back on for Seeking Brother Husbands. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're staying safe, taking care of yourself, and Chippy Salacho.